Hey guys, welcome into Edie's Attic. My name is Jenny and I am here with your weekly energy update. I have a couple of channeled messages that I wrote down that I received from Spirit over the last 3 to 4 days, and they were audible, and some of them are just downloads, like epiphanies. I did write them down. I'm going to read them to you, and then we're going to pull a few cards and go from there. The first thing I got was, we are doing this again. And also, before I stepped into this reading and I channeled and I meditated and I connected and cleared my chakras, all that fun stuff, I, for the fun of it, because this is something I used to do as a child, actually, it's just another little thing that I like to do when it comes to communicating with spirit. I asked them to show me a sign through music. So then I'll go into my playlist and I'll put it on like random shuffle. And the first song that comes through is usually like what they're trying to talk to me about, or like the message they're trying to convey. So I did that today just for fun. And the song that came through was Mercury Retrograde. So that is something to keep in like the back of our minds throughout this whole reading. I did look it up. Mercury retrograde is ending, I think, August 11th. So we're almost out of this. And Mercury retrograde can bring out a lot of like personal conflicts. There's a lot of situations with other people where we have struggles with communication. Things come back around where we are conflicted and we have to understand how to approach these situations, how to talk to these people. And Spirit just wanted us to know that we're almost at the end of this. And these things that have come back around into our lives for us to face again, it was a challenge and a test for us to see if we've grown and how were we going to face these like internal conflicts. Because even though they present themselves perhaps as external conflicts with other people or situations or places, at the end of the day, they're really internal conflicts that we have within ourselves and how we deal with these situations, how we perceive them. How are we going to handle them differently this time than we did the times before? So that's just a side note for all of you out there. But we are doing this again. Will you handle this in a place of fear or power? So Spirit definitely is like trying to kind of call us all out on, are you really going to keep going through this same cycle over and over again with a mindset that keeps us locked in a fear-based frequency? Because you've done the work, you've done the healing, you've done the introspection. But for some reason, every single time this particular situation in your life circles back around to you, even through all the work that you've done, you cannot deny you feel some sort of like chokehold. It's almost like it shakes you. It makes you uneasy. You don't know how to react, how to respond, how to internalize it, how to break it down, how to walk forward and move through it. It's always this one situation for you. And for each one of us, again, it's going to be different because there's so many of us in this collective. For some, it's, success and career and business and financial. And for others, it's going to be love, romance, friendship, connection. There's so many different layers, but every single time this thing comes into your life, and usually it is during certain retrogrades that you're faced with this again and you're being challenged again, that you kind of freeze like a deer in headlights and you don't know. But I think you do know. That's the thing. We all really know how we want to move through it. We know what we want to get from it, how we want to approach it, yet we get locked into this fear-based frequency, and against our better judgment and against what we want to do, we allow the fear to take over and control our movements, control our voice, control our energy field. And it's really just a call from Spirit to say, this is the time where we break this fear. We end it here. You need to move through this to get past this so that it doesn't keep coming back around again and again and again. So now we are evolving into sentient beings. So we are sentient. We were all born with the abilities to feel. We have our senses here, our earthly senses, taste, touch, sight, sound, feel, like we have our sixth sense. Some of us are able to tap into it. Some of us do not know how yet. But what is happening is that with these upgrades and with the frequency going up and the earth evolving and the frequency of the earth elevating, we too are elevating along with it. So with that, our senses are being enhanced. It says here conscious shift is increasing our abilities from 3D to 7D, not 5D. I would normally go to 5D, but I got to download 3D to 7D, from physical to energetic, from worldly to cosmically. And then I have necessary for integration with the others. Contact happens when we have the ability and hold the capacity to communicate within the same frequency. So I feel like what is being conveyed to me is that there's a whole network of sentient beings that reside in this universe that we have not had contact with for a very long time. I'm getting that at some point in our history, we did have contact. We were very connected and we worked in tangent with them. But we lost that connectivity. And with the uptick and the elevation of the frequency of this planet and with the people on it, and every day, every single one of us doing the work individually, some of us are elevating quicker than others. It's not a competition, but it's the energy of the mass collective that is raising. Certain abilities are going to become more common. They're going to become second nature. Just like you wouldn't question the person next to you for being able to see you physically or touch you physically, sooner or later, we're going to start having these extrasensory abilities within our community that are going to seem like nothing to us because it's going to be so common. And these are the abilities that are going to allow us to finally interact, interconnect with these other sentient beings that surround us. I feel like there's a lot of them that are constantly within our energy field and that reside alongside of us that we have been unaware of and unable to communicate and connect with them for the longest time because we weren't tapped in and we were all residing at a much lower frequency. So the connection was very far off. But as we're elevating, we're coming closer. Some of us are able to connect and communicate, receive downloads, interact more so than others, but pretty soon it's going to be much more easier and it's going to be more of a common thing to see people interacting and communicating with other sentient beings outside of what we have experienced thus far. So with that being said, I'm going to pull a few cards and get into what the energy is for the week, with that being the jump off point. I know I kind of went a little bit off into like a deeper, more intergalactic message. But these are just the downloads and epiphanies that I received, and I just communicate them as I receive them. Trust I do sit with the information that I'm given first before giving it to you, just to make sure, double check, understand, internalize, make sure that this is definitely valid for this collective to hear. And I definitely felt that it was necessary. So with that, let's see. Anything else, Spirit, that you would like this collective to know for the week ahead? Take the top one and put the rest back. It says, commit to the journey, With determination, go all in for the long term. Your steadfast focus will bring lasting rewards. Commit to the journey. Tell us more about this journey, Spirit, please. Trust your path. Commit to the journey and trust your path. Listen to your intuition. Seek direction and embrace discovery. Answers reveal the journey within. Answers reveal the journey within. It's, again, real promise. It says, release the chains of the past and dance to the rhythm of possibility. You are on a journey. You are set on your path. You've made it through this journey and down this path to this point. If you looked and turned around behind you, you would see that you've come very far. It's not like you're just starting a journey. You've been on this journey for some time. You've forged the path for others to follow. Trust it. I feel like, again, with these retrogrades, you were faced with something that made you question the path that you're on. If you need to change course, if you need to get off your path and try a different path. And as you are facing this and understanding, the choices and the possibilities that are in front of you, you're actually answering a lot of your own questions, and it's keeping you right on the path that you have set out on. I think that you had to release something recently. You were faced with a situation during this retrograde that you felt uneasy about. You had a lot of uncertainty, and it made you question a lot in regards to the choices that you're making and how you're going to deal with it moving forward. And through this, I feel like you internalized it, you sat with it, and you discovered that you need to let go of this. You can't allow this thing to keep coming back and stopping you from moving forward, because you're actually very blessed. You're very content. You're very happy. It's your own thought patterns and getting in this place of fear and this questionings that you put yourself through that makes you feel that things aren't happening in alignment. But they are, and you know they are. It says, going forward, don't dwell on the past, but focus on creating a brighter future. Don't allow the past to hold you captive. Don't allow it to hold you in this place of doubt and fear and worry and stress. I just posted something about this also on my YouTube and my Facebook group today. If you follow those, go check it out. But I can't remember exactly what the meme said or the quote said, but I remember how I responded to it. Fear is causing us more burdensome feelings than the actual events and situations themselves, like the experience. I don't know if you've ever overthought about something, like if something was coming up and you sat with it for days and stressed about it and overthought it and just kept rethinking the situation over and over again, and you felt sick to your stomach and you felt stressed and weighed down and you couldn't sleep and your head hurt and you just worried yourself sick. And then the day came and the day went, and it wasn't really that bad. Maybe it was uncomfortable or the situation wasn't the greatest, but the days leading up to it were far more stressful than the actual event itself. There's like a need for us to recognize when we're in that mindset and to completely disengage from it Don't allow the fear to control our thoughts. We need to let go of those past situations. Then we have trust yourself and also trust the process. It says, let your intuition be the compass that leads you through the murky waters. Embrace uncertainty. Have faith in the journey unfolding before you. At the end of the day, all we can do is take it one day at a time, one moment at a time, one experience at a time. Far too many of us overthink the experiences in our head, but disconnect when the experiences are happening. We're being called to embrace the experiences fully, whether they are joyful or painful. There's a need for us to be more consciously aware of the experiences that are happening in our day-to-day life as they play out moment by moment, being completely in it, completely into the situation, versus I feel like so many are just living these situations in their mindscape, and they're creating so many scenarios that are fear-based. There's a huge need. I feel like spirit's really echoing into my like energy right now to convey that we have to let go of the fear, because fear is like one of the lowest like emotional frequencies out there, and that is counterproductive of where we are headed, especially on our journey. There's like a need for us to like see it for as it is. I'm creating these fears within my mind. Nothing has even happened yet. Nothing has even entered my life. I haven't experienced this yet. Why am I going to torture myself with these thoughts of the what ifs? And then it happens. And we're not even fully present during that situation, because we're already worrying and thinking about the next fear-based situation that lies ahead of us. Spirit wants us to recognize when we're in that state of mind and we're focused on fear and we're creating the fears ourselves and nipping it in the butt, being like, wait a minute, I'm creating these thoughts myself. Why am I making this worse than it could be? Why am I psyching myself out? I am in control of my thoughts. I am in control of the way I feel. I choose to face this from a place of power. I hold the power of my thoughts. I hold the power of how I react, how I respond, and how I enter into this world. I'm not going to allow myself to be the biggest saboteur in my life anymore. I clocked that. I'm not going to walk in a place of fear anymore. And I'm fully going to embrace my journey. I'm going to trust the process. I'm going to trust myself through the process. Because you've come this far. You didn't come this far to quit now. I'm getting like Mike, the situation from Jersey Shore, the best quotes ever. Like his quotes, like they hit every time I hear it or see it. Trust yourself. Why don't you trust yourself? If you don't trust yourself and you doubt your abilities to move forward on this path, that is something that you need to look into. That's something that you have to focus on right now. Why do you lack the trust in yourself and the trust in your divine path? Why are you not trusting the process? What are the limitations that are holding you back individually? Those are the things that you need to work on right now. You need to focus on what is it from my past, because almost everything that we're dealing with when it comes to trusting ourselves in the process are things that have happened to us in the past that have hurt us, scared us, put us in a place of feeling like we had no control, that we hold on to, that we fear will happen again. It's not going to. Like Spirit said at the beginning with the channeled messages, we're doing this again. Will you handle this in a place of fear or power? The choice is yours. You have the control here and how you operate and how you step forward into this world. It's always been yours. You've always been in control. You're the one that controls the way that you think. It's time to get proactive about how you handle those thoughts. You squash them. Do you squash them as soon as they enter, or do you entertain them for a while? That is what you need to focus on this week. All of us. So I'm going to leave it there for right now, and I might do another one later. I'm not sure if I have time, but I might. I really do like my evening card reads. I think they get kind of spicy, so I might do one of those later tonight. But I really hope this hit the right people. I hope who needed to hear it got the information. I feel like you're either going to completely resonate with this message and embrace it and understand, and it was for you, or you're just going to be like, this isn't for me, and to scroll on by. But I really do hope it hit the right people. And if it did resonate with you and it helped you in any way, or you feel some kind of like clarity from this message, please like and comment. If you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Bye.